We are north of the border. Toronto, Canada is our site for today's USL League One matchup between Toronto FC2 and Forward Madison FC, coming to you from BMO Training Ground in Toronto. Should be an exciting matchup between Forward Madison and Toronto FC2. The Mingos coming up on 2 straight wins, while Toronto FC2 are looking to get back on track after a road loss. But the home field has been very, very kind to Toronto FC2 this season. Head coach Michael Rabaska says he wants the pressure of being able to win at home, and boy, have they done that very well. 3 wins and a draw, including the first loss for North Texas Soccer Club this season. They have been so good on their home field. You can see that offside stat right there, 29-3. They do a great job of their back line playing as a unit. He says there's a familiarity of playing at home, and being able to play in front of the staff at the BMO Training Ground is something this team takes pride in. They will look to make it another win here today for Toronto FC2. On the other side, Forward Madison coming off what Daryl Shore said was their most complete game of the season, a 4-1 win over North Texas Soccer Club. Don Smart netted 2 goals. That was the goal of the week in USL League One. Brian Silvestre brought home the save of the week. They were celebrating National Pink Flamingo Day. That's why they were wearing their pink jerseys, and they lived up to their expectations in what was quite a night at Breese Stevens Field. And he said that North Texas might have felt the pressure a little bit. The flock was bringing it, and it was 4 goals put in the back of the net by Forward Madison as they try to get back on track and into the playoff picture. So last time these 2 teams played, it was a 3-1 win for Forward Madison, but now north of the border, can Toronto FC hold serve at home? We'll find out next. First kick and lineups coming up next on ESPN+. Back here at BMO Training Ground in Toronto, both the teams taking to the pitch, and we are just about set for first kick on a cloudy and breezy and rainy day, but hopefully the rain can stay away for a little bit. Let's take a look at the lineups for this afternoon's affair. We'll start with the home side and Toronto FC2. It is a lineup that features 3 changes from the 1-0 loss at Lansing Ignite FC. No Griffin Dorsey in the lineup today, but Jacob Perusa and Luca Petrasso are both in there for Toronto FC2. They will look to spearhead the attack. Ovalle and Bunk Anderson there in the holding midfield position and on the back line. As for Forward Madison, 2 changes to the lineup. It's only the 2 Minnesota United guys that replace the 2 Forward Madison players from last week. Wyatt Omsberg making his first appearance in the side since May 11th in that 2-2 draw against Chattanooga, and Carter Manley in there at right back. Mason Toy, though, not in the 18 today, one of the other Minnesota Lonies. And here are the USL League One standings coming into today. Toronto FC2 holding down that fourth spot, level on points with Chattanooga. Forward Madison, 14 points. This is a huge one, Daryl Shore says, to get them back into the playoff picture, as they can just be 1 point off the top four at the end of today with a win. There's Don Smart coming off his 2-goal performance from last week. And we are just about set for first kick in Toronto. Head referee Carly Shaw McLaren. And we are just awaiting first kick. Toronto FC 2, 5-4-3. Forward Madison FC 4-6-2. And we are underway from Toronto at the BMO training ground. Forward Madison and Toronto FC 2. On last week's game against Lansing, it was a midweek game on the road for Toronto FC2, a 1-0 loss. Michael Rabaska says they were anxious to get to play again here today. They want to put that one in the rearview mirror. They thought they had a good lineup. Everything was there except for a goal. They had to shorten bench because of the Development Academy tournament going on in San Diego that has affected a few teams in USL League One, but they are back in Toronto looking to get back on track at home, a place that we mentioned in the pregame has been very kind to this Toronto team. And already there is an offside, the first one of the match. As we mentioned in the pregame as well, Toronto FC has now forced 30 offside calls in now 5 home games. That is really an incredible number. This back line does a really nice job of playing as a unit, playing a nice high line that makes it difficult for that number 9 striker for these opponents to play in behind. On the other side, though, for forward Madison, Daryl Shore making 2 changes to the side today. On that North Texas game, they are coming off now 2 straight home games. They'll hit the road now for a few, but he says they were 2 home games where they initiated the tempo they needed to take advantage of missing players like they did against North Texas, and coming away with a 4-1 win is a huge result, especially against a top team like North Texas Soccer Club. Getting them back in the playoff picture was also very important for forward Madison, and Daryl Shore is talking about that they have no one to blame but themselves for the position that they are in right now as they try to get back towards the top of the table in USL League One. Just a few weeks ago, they were at the very, very bottom, and now they find themselves kind of right in the middle. And if they can string some results together on the road, it will definitely help them in their pursuit of a playoff spot. Doesn't get any easier, though, upcoming with some matchups against Tormenta and Lansing, both on the road in their next 2. As Kevin Silva has to clear it back downfield. There's Connor Tobin's first touch. As Brandon Eaton goes down, a little bit of a drizzle in Toronto today. We'll see how the weather affects this game today on this turf field that, from a few coaches around the league, won't name names, but they've not been too pleased with the surface. But that could play into the hands of Toronto FC2 and that home field advantage. Both teams have to play on the field, so it does affect both of them. Obviously, though, Madison, their first time, they did train on it yesterday, but Toronto knows it very well as they have now played, this being their 5th home game of the season. There is Franco Ramos Mingo, his first touch of the ball there at the back. What a perfect name for this game today. The Mingos and Franco Ramos Mingo. If only he was a forward Madison player. Here's Connor Tobin on the ball, the captain. There's the vice captain, Christian Diaz. When we were talking with Daryl Shore this week, it was very interesting to hear what he thought about kind of the roster changes that they do go through, and just the few changes with those Minnesota United players going up and down. They played Minnesota United actually in the midweek. Mason Toy was playing for Minnesota. He's played a handful of games with Madison already this season, but Mason Toy scored 2 goals at Bree Stevens Field for Minnesota United, handing the Mingos a 2-1 loss. Though Danny Tenorio did score the lone goal for forward Madison. There's Christian Diaz gets fouled. He is on the bench today. He's been on the bench. He got in to that friendly. He's played a few League One matches as well, but they're looking to get him back at full fitness. That's really the only thing that's holding him back from being in this side on a regular basis. But it'll be interesting to see when he comes back what the lineups do look like, because he's another attacking player that Daryl Shore says can really help this team in the wide areas and in front of goal. But going back to the Minnesota United portion of that, was Daryl Shore mentioned that they are 3-1-2 with Minnesota United players in the squad, and just 1-5 without Minnesota United players. As there you can see some of the rain coming down. And a few scouts there in the back row, it looks like. So it's always interesting when you get those Minnesota United guys, especially in the back line, which is where they mostly play, as that ball goes past the end line for a goal kick. You can see the quality they bring in Wyatt Omsberg and Carter Manley. And there is Kevin Silva. And it is played wide now. Here's Petrasso. First real good opportunity. Petrasso to his left foot. It's blocked by Tobin. Paolo Jr. now trying to play out of his own half. Maybe a counter opportunity as Brandon Eaton now will slow things down. They'll send it around the back line. Paolo Jr. now for Christian Diaz, who always likes to get into the attack. He goes down. Looks like that was Ramos Mingo there who took him down. And a set piece opportunity, maybe a chance to put one into the box here for forward Madison. 6.5 minutes gone. They'll play it quickly down the wing. Campbell to it. Now it's Nunez. Leonard switches the field, looking for Carter Manley. You could hear the shout for offside. It was not going to come. And Faria clears it away for a throw-in here on this near side.
Actually could have done that.
Nunez, and now here's Eaton. And another offside call there on Carter Manley. I'm sure we'll see a few more of those today. The discrepancy that we have seen in Toronto FC2 home games. The big message coming into the week for forward Madison from Daryl Shore was, can we keep this momentum on the road? If we want to keep pushing, we have to get some points in these games, all against what could be playoff teams. Here's JC Banks into the box, and it's right at Kevin Silva, who makes that catch. Well, this is a very key stretch for forward Madison. 3 straight road games coming on the heels of 2 straight home games where they got 6 points. They'll head to Tormenta, and then they will head to Lansing. And those will be 2 good tests for this team. It's played ahead. Here's Serbal. Ball deflected around and now out of play. The road has not been very kind to forward Madison. Just 1 win. It came against Orlando City B early on in the season. That 1 draw came at Chattanooga. A 2-2 draw. We'll see what they can do here against Toronto FC2. A team that has been so good at home. It's played down the wing.
That's good, 29, that's good.
Carter Manley will come over to take this throw-in. Draft pick out of Duke. Played 8 games last season for Minnesota United. Making his 7th start here this season for forward Madison. Some press being applied here by the Mingos. Some teams in USL League One playing each other for the first time, like we saw with FC Tucson and North Texas Soccer Club on Tuesday. That 1-0 win for North Texas. These two teams had played each other once, a 3-1 win for forward Madison. It came back on May 4th. It was 2-1 for a while until that late goal by forward Madison. It's Faria here on this near side. Now he finds West and Serbal. Ovalle now. It's Madison making it difficult. Here's West. Eaton's able to cut it out. Here's West again. Madison making it very difficult for Toronto FC2 to do really anything there in the attacking third at the moment. Here's Campbell trying to play through the middle to Serbal. Serbal has some room to work, finds Wyja. Now wide for Petrasso. Petrasso to the end line, the cross. And it will go over the end line for a corner kick, the first of the match, as Tobin had to assert himself there. Another stat in Toronto's favor at home is corner kicks. They came into today 12-3 in the previous 4 games, and here is the first one. It'll be Luca Petrasso making his 9th start to take this first one. It's 1 assist on the season. This one high towards the back post, looking for Ovalle. A weak header, and Silvestre is there to make the easy catch. Omsberg on it. Now here's Tobin. Both these teams trying to battle the elements here today in the rain, the wind, as Nunez makes a nice move in the midfield. Trying to play it wide for Paolo Jr. Campbell gets his head to it, and he's able to clear away the opportunity. Very interesting talk with Daryl Shore this week about Josiel Nunez. He missed those 2 games because of a red card suspension. Here's JC Banks has it. Looking for Nunez. Deflection could not find Eaton. Now maybe Serbal can take it forward. Long ball over the top. Looking for Perusa. But Omsberg and Tobin able to handle it. But talking about Nunez, I think he kind of realized, Daryl Shore says, how important he is to this team when he was not on the field. There were giveaways in the midfield, but he is that presence right in the middle of the field who's very active. As Ramos Mingo goes down. Some contact there with Josiel Nunez. Daryl Shore says he was a physical presence. And they do miss him when he's not on the field, but now he's back in the lineup, making his 11th start, one of the regulars. Trying to see what happened here. A high forearm there into the chest of Ramos Mingo. And he is back on his feet. Something to wake him up here. So we are about 14.5 minutes in. A few half chances for both sides. Some pressure being shown by Nunez. This front three for Madison today. Nunez, Banks, and Smart. It's played over the top now. Here's Petrasso. Cutting inside, the header on towards the back post. And Serbal could not put it on frame. A good opportunity there, a free header for Serbal right in the middle of the box. He has 2 goals this season. Couldn't make it 3 on that occasion. Looks like Carter Manley was tracking back in defense there and just lost Matthew Serbal there right in the middle of the box. Maybe the best opportunity so far in this match for either side. Toronto getting a few more days off than forward Madison ahead of this match here today as Petrasso has the ball at his feet. Finds Ovalle, he'll let it rip, and way over the bar. Select is the official ball supplier of USL League One and many of the finest leagues in the world. Since 1947, Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit selectsportamerica.com. Madison playing that friendly in front of a record crowd at Breese Stevens Field, over 4,800 fans. Very exciting night, the first MLS side to ever play in Madison, Wisconsin. Here's Don Smart, able to win it back from West. West goes to ground. You can see the flag waved by the official as Michael Rabaska pleading his case to the official. Let's take another look at it. West did make some contact there with Don Smart. And another set piece opportunity upcoming here for forward Madison, this time on the right side. Josiel Nunez putting that ball down specifically how he wants it. This one they'll take into the box. Looking for Omsberg as Silva could not possess that in the air. It did end up bouncing off of Omsberg and out of play. That's a miss at the back, and maybe that's a little bit because of the weather. A little drizzle coming down. Just went right over the top. Maybe he was trying to get out of the way there and just letting that go out of play, but nonetheless, he could not make that catch. The whistle blows there on the first foul by Toronto FC2. So look at Patrick Bunk Anderson, one of the leaders of that back line. 3 goals for him, making his 13th start here today. The Clemson product scored his first goal versus Tormenta earlier this season. Connor Tobin wins back possession for forward Madison. This match, the second one of Week 14 here in USL League One, nearing the halfway point of the season as we are just about to get into July. It's played down the wing, Brandon Eaton now. Dante Campbell was there as well. It will be a corner in the first of the match for forward Madison. We'll see who jogs over to take this. Don Smart and Carter Manley walking over there. It looks like it will be Carter Manley to take. Will be an in-swinger here from Manley. Right into the middle, and Silva an easy catch in the middle of the box. A lot of these Toronto FC2 players coming back from that U.S. Soccer Development Academy tournament in San Diego. It's affected a few teams. It affected Toronto in their match against Lansing, just that three-man bench. Affected North Texas in their shortened squad as well. And a lot of these players have played a lot of soccer here in the past few weeks. Now back in this USL League One side is Brandon Eaton. Will take it forward and drop it back now for Manley. But it's something that Michael Rabaska says that maybe caught them off guard a little bit, could have planned a little bit better for it, but obviously just in this first season of USL League One, working out some of the kinks, and then Jacob Schaffelberg gets signed. You have Gold Cup going on, a whole lot of soccer across the United States and Canada and really the world as well. As JC Banks is pleading his case for a foul. But that's just one of those differences between a team like Forward Madison that is, I guess, one of the independent teams not tied to an MLS side, and a team like Toronto FC2 where they have players going up and down from the first team. They have academy players coming in. There's a big roster pool. A lot of bodies you have to manage and games you have to manage with those development academy tournaments happening, and so much to balance for these staffs in this first year of USL League One. There's Paolo Jr. and Patrick Bunk Anderson on it. Finds West, and now it's back to Bunk Anderson. The shots have not been aplenty so far. There's 4 shots for Toronto FC2 and none for Forward Madison thus far. Here's Petrasso on the right flank. Waija. Here's Campbell. Petrasso trying to get inside. Waija. It's deflected around, and Silvestre will fall on it. Nearing the midway point of this first half. Still looking for this one to wake up a little bit. Both sides have had a few opportunities, but nothing too dangerous. Long ball won back by Josiel Nunez. Now here's Brandon Eaton right in the middle. Tries to switch it for Christian Diaz, but nothing doing on that occasion. Forward Madison starting this 3-game road stretch, and Daryl Shore says it's all about mentality. It's cut out by Patrick Bunk Anderson. He calls out North Texas and Tormenta, and they've been good on the road and saying we need to get there if we want to be at the top, and that's why they are at the top at the moment. A lot of our phone call this week was about not making excuses and about mentality. They have to have the right mentality going into these matches in a very big stretch upcoming in July. As it's played ahead. Faria goes down in the box. Serbal cannot keep it in, and it will be a goal kick. As the rain keeps on falling in Toronto. Nunez on it again. He gets taken down by Ramos Mingo. Now maybe an opportunity for Toronto FC to look forward. A win for Toronto FC2 today would really solidify themselves, at least for now, into the playoff picture. They're tied at 18 points right now with Chattanooga. And for Forward Madison, it would put them right on the cusp of a playoff spot. They can find 3 points here today. Go a long way in getting them back on track and into that top 4. We're kind of right at the midway point of this season. Daryl Shore says he's not sugarcoating anything when he says we're not happy with where they are. They thought they'd be a little bit higher up in the table. The month of May was long and grueling with Open Cup, but he says they were happy to obviously be successful in the Open Cup, playing some USL Championship sides. Going down to El Paso, earning a 3-0 victory. Playing tight with St. Louis FC on the road. But he says that may have set them back a little bit, but he's okay with that. And now they have to focus in on these league games, as this is obviously now their biggest focus. Here's Leonard. To wide for Diaz. Forward for Banks, who was offside. Not the last time we'll see that here today. Fans follow Toronto FC2 and the rest of USL League One all season long on ESPN Plus, home to the USL, MLS, UFC, the US Open Cup, and more. Join the over 2 million sports fans who have already discovered ESPN Plus and watch League One live every week. Sign up today at espnplus.com. It's played long and funnel back to Omsberg and now Diaz. Another long ball over the top looking for Paolo Jr. Diaz unable to keep it in, a throw in now for Toronto FC2. Here's Bunk Anderson. Bunch of white jerseys behind the ball, but they get it wide now for Petrasso. Sent into the box, looking for Faria at the back post. He ended up not making that run. We've seen Petrasso on that right flank plenty today with the ball at his feet. Trying to make something happen when he cuts in on his left foot. So far, nothing too dangerous. Just 4 shots for Toronto. Madison still looking for their first. And Paolo Jr. able to win it back in the midfield for a good interception by Waija. Those midfield giveaways was something Michael Rabaska mentioned to us in our conversation this week. With a side full of veteran players as Forward Madison, he says he cannot give away balls in the midfield. So those are chances for Madison to create attacks and catch them off guard. As Ovalle wins it back now. Looking for Faria. There's one back by Nunez as he looks upfield. Switches the play now to J.C. Banks. And now Leonard. See a little bit of that pressure from Toronto FC too. We've seen this Toronto FC press in recent matches, especially at home, work to their advantage, winning balls at the back and turning them into goal-scoring opportunities. Now Waija. Now here's West. Bringing it into the attacking third for Matthew Serbel now. Serbel unable to keep possession. J.C. Banks was in an offside position. He'll just let it go. As the rain continues to fall here, BMO Training Ground in Toronto. Only a half hour gone. Still looking for the opening goal. Maybe it comes here. Trying to set up Petrasso. Perusa was in there as well. Both these midfields making it very difficult to play through so far today. As Eric Leonard cuts out a pass. Making it difficult on that front line of both of these teams to really create good goal-scoring opportunities. Madison, a team that really likes to get out on the wings and run, really have been unable to do so these first 30 minutes. Serbel unable to keep it in play. Here's Manley now. Played forward for Eaton. Silva has to come off his line, and he clears it back downfield. And Omsberg plays it back to Silvestre. Here's Paolo Jr. Now it's J.C. Banks. And obviously no goals scored yet. On the Toronto side, that isn't too much of a surprise. They've scored nearly 35% of their goals in the last 15 minutes. It's something that has been a concerted effort by Michael Rabaska to kind of focus in on. They had 12 team goals coming into the season. That was one of them, was to have a positive goal differential in the final 15 minutes. They value that end of game goal. So we'll talk about it when that 75th minute comes around. It's played ahead now for Christian Diaz. Christian Diaz makes a move. The shot saved. Here's J.C. Banks, another save. A crazy sequence at the back. The first time this game has really woken up, but Madison are denied at the back. Some good defending and good goalkeeping by Kevin Silva. A double save by the Bethlehem, Pennsylvania native. The best opportunity for either side so far, as Carter Manley will come over to take Madison's second corner of the day. They'll play it short. Now Manley towards the back post and out of play. What an incredible move by Christian Diaz to get by. Looked like it was Dante Campbell on that occasion. So maybe that'll bring this match to life a little bit. If you're Daryl Shore and forward Madison, you probably expect to put that in the back of the net, especially coming off last week's 4-goal performance. As Daryl Shore has said a few times in these past few weeks, it's not for the lack of chances. They've created plenty. Just haven't really been able to put some in the back of the net until recently. Matthew Serbel now. Bunk Anderson charging forward. Gets it wide for Campbell. Matthew Serbel again. He'll let it rip. Comes nowhere close. Let's go back and look at this opportunity. A really good save by Kevin Silva on that first attempt, and then the second one, that might have just gone right off his face. I'm not sure he got a hand to it. And there's the shot by Faria, and he skies it over the bar. A few good opportunities have come here ever since that Madison chance. We'll see what happens here before halftime, as a goal could change the complexion going into halftime. We saw a few weeks ago what Toronto FC2 did just before halftime against North Texas. They went down 3-0, that Ronaldo Demis hat trick. But it was Griffin Dorsey right before halftime, and talking with Eric Quill, North Texas's coach, he said he thinks that changed the game and gave Toronto a little bit of momentum going into halftime, and instead of a 3-goal deficit, it was just a 2-goal deficit, and that could be very similar to what we could see today if we get a goal before halftime from either side. Here's Ramos Mingo looking for West. It's won back by Paolo Jr. Now J.C. Banks wide for Don Smart. Josiel Nunez now looking for Banks. There was one of those midfield giveaways that Michael Rabasco was talking about. Now this game has opened up just a tad. Here's Faria on the near side, trying to get past Manley, gets pushed into the end boards. Instead it will just be a goal kick. Looking for the latest USL League One news and content? Follow at USL League One on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram for exclusive access and updates. Here's Eric Leonard. Looks like the rain has subsided, at least for the moment, as Paolo Jr. goes down. Looks like it's taken quickly. Looking for Don Smart. He was in an offside position. Now as that stat starts to go up, yep, there it is, 4 offside for forward Madison so far. Not a huge surprise. As we mentioned at the top, 29-3 coming into today at home for Toronto. Just one of those weird and quirky stats, but I think it does say a lot about what Toronto's able to do at home. And we asked Michael Rabasca about that. He says, we don't coach to play teams off sides, we coach to shorten the field and move the opponent. Well, offside usually all about timing. There as Leonard goes down. So either it's just really bad timing from the opponent, or Toronto really is trying to play the other team offside. Whatever it may be, it happens a lot, and that's why you have to keep bringing it up. This pass for Diaz, a little bit too tall. So we are nearing halftime here in Toronto. Brandon Eaton, another midfield giveaway there from Toronto FC2. It's wide now for Paolo Jr. Paolo Jr. looking to take it on into the middle, bounced around at the feet of Silva, still bounced around, and finally able to be cleared. At least for the moment. We'll go out of play for a throw-in for forward Madison. Here's another look at opportunity. Paolo Jr. found Josiel Nunez, which is kind of a foot fight right in the middle of there. Who was going to come away with that ball, and luckily for Toronto FC, he didn't catch a bad deflection. It's played wide for J.C. Banks. And he was offside once again. So definitely something to watch as we get into the second half and into the latter stages of this first half. 5 offside calls for forward Madison. Possession fairly even, 53% to Toronto FC 2 so far. The aerial duels, 75% have been won by Toronto FC 2. This will be a foul on J.C. Banks, much to his displeasure. Madison in their all-white kits here today against the all-red of Toronto. It's played back to Kevin Silva. Some pressure at the back by Nunez. A good touch by Silva to get out of it. Now here's Bunk Anderson coming forward. Here's Perusa. That's wide for West. Matthew Serble. Ovalle now. Trying to probe this midfield and back line of forward Madison. Has not been easy so far today for Toronto FC 2. Diagonal ball wide for Jordan Faria. Right-footed cross is blocked away by Carter Manley. Adolfo Ovalle wearing the captain's armband. And that holding midfield position today for Toronto FC 2. Making his 13th start. It's played wide. Luca Petrasso. Cross towards the back post. Look like that was a push off there by Jordan Faria on Carter Manley. The whistle blows and it goes back to forward Madison. Long ball played deep once again. We've seen a few of those so far as West slips and he just has to clear it out of play. Good decision there by West, not to give something away right in the middle of the field. I'm sure that was something that Michael Rabaska talked to his team about. He talked to us about it. These midfield giveaways can't be too naive, especially with a veteran group like Madison. Closing in on the last 2 minutes of this first half. Maybe the best opportunity came from forward Madison just a few moments ago. That double save by Kevin Silva. Keeping this match 0-0, looking for that opener still. Here's Wyja. Don Smart now. It's played all the way back to Silvestre, and now here's Omsberg. As it's played wide now for Paolo Jr. Looks like the flag will stay down on this occasion. Early cross in, and it's deflected away. As of now, we're hearing there will not be any added time, but we'll see what happens in this next minute, 10 seconds. And it's cleared away by Eric Leonard. Bunk Anderson. Is there something in these last few moments of this first half? Campbell, Ramos Mingo, and now Bunk Anderson. There's Jesus West. It's played forward. Here's Perusa right before the half. Off the post and in. There is the opening goal in the dying embers of the first half. And Toronto FC have the opening goal. Jordan Perusa, his 5th goal on the season. And right before halftime, Toronto have taken the lead. Here's another look at it. It's a little 1-2 with Gideon Waija. And Perusa did the rest. In off the post, nothing Silvestre could do. He put his laces through it, and he gives Toronto to the lead. There was something in those final few moments of this first half, and now that changes the complexion of the game, much like we saw a few weeks ago right before halftime. A big development, and it is Toronto taking the lead as we have hit halftime here at BMO Training Ground in Toronto, Canada. There he is, Jordan Perusa, scoring his 5th goal on the season. And it gives the team in red the lead as we head to halftime here in Toronto. And it will now be forward Madison playing from behind for the 2nd week in a row. Last week they were able to come away with a win after going down 1-0. But today it is Toronto FC 2. They have the lead going into halftime. Kevin Silva played a big part in keeping Madison off the board. We head to halftime. It's 1-0, Toronto FC 2. Welcome back to halftime on ESPN Plus between Toronto FC 2 and Forward Madison. Coming up, we'll take a look back at Louisville City's matchup with FC Cincinnati in the U.S. Open Cup, as well as a peek at the USL Championship's newest franchise in San Diego. But first, we put the spotlight last weekend on Ricardo Pepi and his signing with FC Dallas in MLS. One day after Pepi inked his homegrown deal, Toronto FC signed forward Jacob Schaffelberg to a homegrown contract. As the schedule maker would predict, Schaffelberg and Pepe both came off the bench as Dallas hosted Toronto last Saturday night. After the game, Toronto FC was kind enough to send us Schaffelberg's post-game comments following his MLS debut. Here's what he had to say in the locker room after the match.
To get out there for my first time and get my feet wet was a great feeling.
How did that live up to maybe your expectations of building up in your head, getting out there for the first time?
Certainly leading up to it, I was super nervous from the moment I got the call to come on the trip. But once I got on the field and I got my first touch on the ball, it all went away and it just felt like another game. So, going back about 8 months, I'm still playing at Berkshire School in a high school league. So, to make the jump to TFC second team and out of the first team, it's just been unthinkable. So it's been a dream. I've learned a lot so far from being here. It's been great so far.
And what do you do now? Is you're in the middle of a pretty busy stretch. You have to go home now midweek and play Atlanta. How do you bounce back and look to turn things around?
I'm used to playing multiple games in a week from the USL. We've been having quite a few Wednesday, Saturday games. So, I think that as a team, we're going to have to reset and go into the Atlanta game with a new mindset and then just refresh. I think so. I looked at my phone just for a second. I know my mom texted me, and the first line was just she had tears when she first saw me come on. So that's special, and just having my brother and then my sister and just like all my family members texting me, and then just seeing how proud they are is just it's amazing. It's a great feeling.
You gonna try to get into Toronto?
I hope so. I hope my parents may come up for the Atlanta game. That'd be super nice. Yeah.
Schaffelberg saw time with Toronto FC in CONCACAF Champions League action back in the winter and scored twice for TFC2 in 12 USL League One appearances. At the time of his signing to the MLS side, he led the League One squad with 3 assists and 7 shots on target. His 2 goals either tied the match or gave TFC2 the lead. This Wednesday night, he got his first start for Toronto FC and made an immediate impact, registering an assist in a 3-2 win over Atlanta. Here are his highlights from the game.
Play back now to Pozuelo, and he'll get that overlapping run for Schaffelberg. Little get, little go, get it back in front. Quick start! That's what they need, TFC. Here it is. Working his 7th game of the season. Midfield. Frazier, Schaffelberg. For almost 2 decades, San Diego has been waiting for a professional soccer club it can call its own. Now led by leading soccer executive and co-founder of Sacramento Republic FC, Warren Smith, and legendary United States men's national team player Landon Donovan, its club has arrived. The USL Championship is coming to the University of San Diego's Torero Stadium, bringing all the excitement of the fastest growing league in North America to one of the top soccer markets in the United States.
All right, gentlemen. I don't think we need to kind of review what this game means, but it is a really important opportunity for us. I think it's an important opportunity for you guys in a lot of ways. Goal is to advance in the US Open Cup by beating Cincinnati. It is that simple. Any questions? Let's go, gentlemen. Let's go. It's more than just the 2 clubs. There's a bit of an angst between the cities, quite frankly. You can feel it.
There's just so much on the line. We're in the 3rd year now of seeing FC Cincinnati with a lot of big moments that have happened and history built up.
Last year we came here twice and we won both games. Dealing with the crowd, the pressure, I think is one advantage that we'll have as we've dealt with it.
4th round of the 2019 Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup, the site of the renewal of one of the great budding rivalries in U.S. soccer, FC Cincinnati. Now the big dog from Major League Soccer hosting Louisville City FC, a rainy Nippert Stadium, the perfect place, Lorena, to renew the River City rivalry. Sam Warner, the beauty.
Look at Taylor moving up. And Taylor with a beautiful strike. Are you kidding?
Johnson from distance.
Oh, yes!
A great save from C.J. Cochran.
Some news and notes for you around USL League One. As we mentioned, Ricardo Pepi and Jacob Schaffelberg signing homegrown contracts in MLS. And then a record crowd in Madison as Minnesota United came to Breese Stevens Field for a midweek friendly. The first time an MLS club has played in Madison. And then player of the week, Stephen Beattie, the third hat trick in USL League One this season, and he is the player of the week. Here is the team of the week. A couple of Mingos there with Josiel Nunez and Don Smart, both of them scoring last weekend. Don Smart grabbing 2, but 3 Lansing Ignite FC players on there as well. Here are the goal leaders. Ronaldo Demis has overtaken his teammate Ricardo Pepi, while Stephen Beattie has shot up the list up to 6 goals. Jake Keegan also in there for Greenville Triumph. And the Gold Cup continues. They are into the knockout stages. Haiti and Canada, of these 3, are at least moving through to the quarterfinals, while Trinidad and Tobago could not get a win, and they are headed home. As for the scoreboard around USL League One, 1 game already in the books. North Texas moving back to the top of the standings, while 3 more matches are coming up shortly, 1 tonight and 2 tomorrow. The upcoming schedule for July 4th week, FC Tucson will host Toronto FC2, and then 2 games on Saturday and another late game on Sunday night for North Texas Soccer Club. Highlights and stats are next, along with the second half here on ESPN+. Nearing the second half here in Toronto. 1-0 to the home side as they got a goal from Jordan Perusa just before halftime. Let's show you what happened, though, in that first 45 minutes. Some highlights from the first half between Toronto FC2 and Forward Madison. A bit of a slow beginning. Both teams had some half chances. This was a header at the back post by Adolfo Ovalle. Easy catch for Brian Silvestre. Toronto FC2 was coming forward just a few times. They had more shots than Forward Madison in that first half. Here was a header by Matthew Serbel that went past that far post. And that was a very good opportunity once again for Toronto FC2, but not able to take advantage of these chances. Don Smart goes down. A little bit of physicality in this match. Here was a drop by Kevin Silva. That could have been disaster for Silva at the back. We'd see more from him, though, in just a moment, as Forward Madison did have some opportunities. And here it was, Christian Diaz. Just a great play to get by Dante Campbell, a little touch, and a great diving save. Silva then able to get back to his feet. I don't think he got a hand to that last one. I think that was right off his face. And that kept Forward Madison off the board. That's a tough way not to score. But here was the moment that put Toronto FC2 ahead just before halftime in off the post. by Perusa, and that got Toronto FC2 on the board just before halftime. And here are the stats from that first 45 minutes. 7 shots to 4 for Toronto FC2. The possession in their favor as well. And you see that offside stat. We've been talking about it plenty. 5-0 so far. Forward Madison has been caught 5 times. We've seen that from plenty of opponents up in Toronto so far this season. We are just about ready for the second half as we take a look at the standings. Toronto FC2, this would move them up to 21 points. They sit right now at 18 points, so they could jump Lansing Ignite FC before their match at North Texas on Saturday night. So a whole lot to play for. They're all jumbled up there right in the middle. Forward Madison looking to potentially at least get a point out of this match and get that equalizer to just keep their good streak going. They have won their past 2 matches. And there is the goal scorer. Jordan Perusa now up to 5 goals. And he's starting to climb that goal leaderboard in USL League One. Ronaldo Demis has 8 to lead the way. Now I believe he's level with Jake Keegan with 5 goals. Jake Keegan of Greenville Triumph. Came in the 45th minute. They're so good, Toronto FC2 is at scoring goals just before halftime or just before the end of the game. They scored 20% of their goals right before halftime in the last 15 minutes, and then the last 15 minutes of the entire game, they've scored 35% of their goals. So that 20% will definitely go up just a little bit after scoring one here today. Look at our match referee, Carly Shaw McLaren. We're waiting on her whistle. The teams switch sides. We're underway for this second half at BMO Training Ground. And it will be up to Forward Madison to try to find the equalizer, potentially more, if they want to be the first team to knock off Toronto FC2 on their home field. And on the other side for Toronto, they're just looking to try to continue their home winning ways. This would be the 5th win of the season if Madison could get it. Here's Josiel Nunez. Looking for Christian Diaz. Slow pass all the way across the field. Diaz cuts inside, looking for Banks. Banks gets it up in the air. Now it's Diaz. He could not keep possession. But Leonard will win it back for Forward Madison. So last week it was just after about 15 minutes that Madison went down before they came back and scored 4 unanswered goals. As for Toronto, though, they are looking to bounce back after that 1-0 loss at Lansing Ignite. And they are in a good position to do so as we stand here in the 47th minute. The Jordan Perusa goal in the 45th minute is the difference. And a full bench for both of these sides here today. It's a very welcome sight for Michael Rabaska and Toronto FC2 after just a 3-man bench with 2 field players last week at Lansing on Wednesday. But Madison has plenty of regulars that they can turn to, whether that be Jiro Barriga Toyama, Carl Schneider, Zaire Bartley. Maybe we see Danny Tenorio. As Josiel Nunez looks like he is called for a foul when scoring first. Toronto FC very good, and especially on their home field. They don't lose many. Now here's Franco Ramos Mingo. Played wide. And there's the Madison stat, 2-6-1 when they concede first, though they did concede first last week before coming back to win. As Diaz goes down, Luca Petrasso takes him down. You can hear the whistle blow. Here's Petrasso trying to get out of a tight area. And all the way back now for Connor Tobin, who clears it over the end line. He raises his hand. He says, "That's on me." As Brian Silvestre will look to run it over and then just slowly roll it over to the corner as a corner kick is upcoming now for Toronto FC2. Luca Petrasso will take. The in-swinger from this near side towards the back post. Matthew Serbel got his head to it. He was unable to direct it on frame for the second time here today. J.C. Banks took a tumble, but he's back on his feet. Brian Silvestre will start play up again. Who will it be to score the goal for Madison if it should come today? Don Smart's been that go-to guy as of late, scoring 2 goals last week. J.C. Banks has 2 goals in the previous 2 matches coming into today. Plenty of quality as Carter Manley makes a long run down that right flank. Gets on the end of it, across into the box. Couldn't find a white jersey. A low drive by Josiel Nunez, scooped up by Kevin Silva. Silva's been tested today a few times, but he's been up to the challenge just about every time. So we see some pressure put on by this front line of forward Madison. Eric Leonard gets that first header, and then he gets knocked down. No foul called, and it goes all the way back to Kevin Silva. Looks like that was Faria who went down on the challenge by Carter Manley. We'll go back to that shot by Josiel Nunez. A good cross in by Carter Manley, just nobody in the area. And then a low skipping drive by Josiel Nunez. I'm sure the surface still a little bit wet from the rain that we saw in the first few minutes. Trying to get a sharp skip off of this turf. It's played back downfield for Patrick Bunk-Anderson. We'll see how much Madison opens up in this second half as they try to chase that equalizer. Obviously still plenty of time remaining. You don't want to go down 2-0. That would make it very, very difficult to try to get back in the match. Now it's played wide again. Here's Brandon Eaton on it. Eaton, a low cross, was deflected, and just outside of the post, it will be a corner kick. But it looked like Kevin Silva was leaning the wrong way on that one. That could have been trouble for Toronto. Instead, it's just a corner kick. And it will be Don Smart over to take it, an outswinger now with his right foot. Puts his foot through it. Ramos Mingo first to it. And maybe a chance for Toronto to counter. Here's Wyja. Serbel making a run. Peruza making a run. They try to play it forward for him. He'll have to chase it. He won't get there in front of Carter Manley as he gets pushed down and a foul. Jordan Peruza has been very active here today, scoring that first goal just before halftime. Eaton now gets it wide, and the flag goes up. Offside number 6 by forward Madison here today. Fans of the USL unveiled its elite youth platform, USL Academy. This allows clubs at all levels across the USL to develop its local youth and compete at the highest level across the United States, including the USL Academy Cup. For more information, visit uslsoccer.com/academy. Eaton gets it wide now for Don Smart. Carter Manley. And around the back line. Giveaway in the midfield again by Toronto FC2. Forward Madison has not made Toronto pay for those yet. Don Smart across towards the back post. Looking for Paolo Jr. He elects to keep it in play. Now he sends it back in. Nobody was there at the back post. It's out as far as Eric Leonard. Tries to find Don Smart, who did not get back to an onside position. And the flag up on the far side again. And now it's her turn to be raising the flag on this side of the field in this second half. Kevin Silva will put it back into play. It's all the way back now for Brian Silvestre. Brandon Eaton again as he gets dragged down. Adolfo Ovalle commits the foul. We've not seen a yellow card here today. Nothing too chippy between these two sides. Good tactical foul by Ovalle in that occasion. In and around the box, Paolo Jr. Eaton never afraid to let one rip. At the post a few weeks ago, he's come close on a few other times. Christian Diaz now unable to win that away from Campbell, and now Paolo Jr. does. For Josiel Nunez. Clip forward for Christian Diaz, but Silva's off his line to make the catch. A long ball is headed away by Connor Tobin. Michael Rabaska has to get out of the way. It will be a throw in here on the near side. Dante Campbell will come over and take it. Josiel Nunez now. Diagonal ball for Carter Manley. Trying to get by West. Now trying to win it back, and he's able to do so. Don Smart. Nunez now. Tried to wrap his right foot around it, and it was deflected away. And now it's all the way back for Brian Silvestre.
That was a fantastic goal, eh? Did you see his other one about
Here's Wyatt Omsberg now on the ball. Josiel Nunez dropping back a little bit, at least for the moment. Madison enjoying some time on the ball now. Still chasing that equalizer. It's Jordan Peruza just before halftime. Left-footed shot off the right post and in. And another long ball over the top. Headed away by Campbell. Now a chance for Toronto to run. And back for Silvestre once again. As Dante Campbell takes down Josiel Nunez. The whistle blows. Still have not seen referee Carly Shaw McLaren go to her pocket. Maybe we'll see one here. She goes over to now talk with Campbell, says no more. Nunez will take it short. He'll get it right back from Eaton. It's Christian Diaz. A bit of a late challenge. They're on Dante Campbell, and that will be the first time as she goes to her pocket. A yellow card for Christian Diaz. It was a bit of a late challenge. And the first yellow card of the match comes in the 59th minute. And here's another look at it. He tried to pull up. He knew what he did. He didn't think it was yellow card worthy, maybe. But Shaw McLaren thought otherwise. So Diaz goes in the book, first one of the day. See if that changes the game plan at all from Daryl Shore and forward Madison as we get in the latter stages. Leonard plays it back for Tobin. Daryl Shore says these road games all about mentality. Well, that mentality getting tested here. Don Smart knew he was offside, thought better of chasing that ball. But now a half hour left as we're through the first hour of this match. And it is Toronto FC 2 in front by a goal to nil. Here's Carter Manley now for Don Smart. Manley gets it right back. Manley cross into the box, headed away. I've seen plenty of those crosses by Carter Manley so far today. Now Josiel Nunez. Here's Eric Leonard. Wide for Paolo Jr. And the flag was up. Such thin margins on that back line. As Paolo Jr. was deemed in an offside position. Madison readying the first sub of the match. We'll get to that in just a moment. Looks like it'll be Jiro Barriga Toyama who will come on to the field. Here's Adolfo Ovalle. Gets it taken away by J.C. Banks, at least for the moment. Jesus West. Now Matthew Serbel. And Brandon Eaton called for a foul. The players wearing white jerseys did not like that at all. And it looks like we will get the first sub of the afternoon. It will be Jiro Barriga Toyama to come on. It will be Brandon Eaton who makes way. And there is the sub for Toronto as well. Tariq Mohammed will come on in just a moment as Barriga Toyama enters the field. And it will be Gideon Wija coming off, Tariq Mohammed coming on. Tariq Mohammed on the Team of the Week a few weeks ago. A regular fullback for this side. I mean, Dante Campbell. Ball into the box, Silvestre, an easy catch. And he'll take his time to put it back into play. Omsburg looks for Bariga Toyama now. Now it's J.C. Banks, plenty of room to work. Played forward for Paolo Jr. He got the ball caught up in his feet. A good slide tackle by Banks to win it back. Josiel Nunez now, clipped forward. Matthew Serble comes away with it. Now here's Tariq Mohammed, getting chased by Don Smart. Tariq Mohammed still charging forward. Plays it across the 6, looking for Faria. He gets on the end of it. Now he's double teamed by 2 white jerseys. And it's Christian Diaz to come away with it, at least momentarily. It's won back by Perusa, looking for maybe his second goal in the day. He centers it, the shot low and right into the hands of Brian Silvestre. Decent opportunity for Toronto in and around the area. That cross at the top of the 6-yard box, very dangerous, just nobody waiting at the back post. Here's Christian Diaz now. Played down the line, but it did go out of play. There's Coach Daryl Shore there, the bottom of the screen, trying to get his side back into it. Jordan Faria now, looking for Perusa. Diaz went to ground, he won the ball. Faria comes away with it again. Faria into the box, centers it, and Wyatt Omsburg, a big intervention and maybe a chance for Madison to counter. Here's Nunez. Wide for Paolo Jr. Tries to cut inside up Bunk Anderson. It's clipped up. Bariga Toyama now. Another cross for Paolo Jr. And a diving save by Kevin Silva. There were some good opportunities there for forward Madison, but not able to get off too strong of a shot. Didn't test Silva in between the pipes. That has to be encouraging if you're forward Madison right now. Chances haven't necessarily been there in mass quantities today, but they have had a few good opportunities in front of goal. It kind of goes back to what Daryl Shore has talked about. We've had plenty of chances. It's all about now putting them away. The 4 goals last week was a start. The 2 goals against FC Tucson was also good. But against Orlando a few weeks ago on the 7th, they had some opportunities but unable to really get a stranglehold on that game. They did lose 2-1. But looking to change things here today. Already a season-long league win streak at 2 games. Don Smart now. Don Smart now for Eric Leonard. Leonard looking for Paolo Jr. A little bit behind him. Bariga Toyama now into the middle. And nobody was there. Everybody had overrun the ball. The pressure being ratcheted up a little bit by Madison. Don Smart goes to ground, wins the ball back. Now Josiel Nunez. Nunez looking for someone here. Finds Banks. It's it wide for Manley, a low cross, but Silva was quick off his line to scoop it up. And maybe that'll relieve the pressure just a little bit, but Carter Manley been a very busy man up and down that right flank so far today. Silva sends it back downfield and out of play for another throw. Another sub readying for Toronto FC2 at the next available moment. Sounding like it'll be Sean Hundahl to come on. Paolo Jr. plays it wide. Carter Manley again on the right. Manley looking for J.C. Banks, but Kevin Silva was there just in front of Banks to take it away. Paolo Jr. getting himself in the way. Carter Manley has not gone unnoticed so far today. But all the way back for Connor Tobin. Not a whole lot of great opportunities from Toronto FC today, but they are the team that has the goal, and that's all that matters at the end of it. As Silva has to come off his line and clear it away. Dunsmart charging forward now, looking for Paolo Jr. He played it in an offside position. And they are pleading their case to the official. Not happy with that offside call. That would have been most likely a goal there for Madison, but instead it'll be Sean Hundahl to come on, and the goal scorer, Jordan Peruza, will make way. And this was the goal just before halftime in the 45th minute. Gideon Waija with the assist, Jordan Peruza with the goal. His 5th goal on the season, and now will be Sean Hundahl to come on. His 4th season with Toronto FC2. He has 1 appearance with Ottawa Fury FC in the USL Championship, and he's now back. He has 2 goals with Toronto FC2 so far this season. He's been good as of late. The boys in red. It's 20 minutes left, and Madison still looking for the equalizer. Or will it be Toronto FC2 to get that 2-goal advantage in the brace? It's headed away by Connor Tobin, and a throw in on the near side coming for Toronto.
Even the Canadian Champions League.
Dante Campbell. All the way back now for Omsberg, and Silvestre will come out to take it. Toronto will have a bit of a short week as they head all the way to Tucson, Arizona for a midweek matchup with FC Tucson. That's on Wednesday. Then they'll have some time off. Christian Diaz into the box. Bariga Toyama could not get on the end of it. Here's Josiel Nunez. Gets it wide for Manley. Carter Manley gets around the corner, and the cross once again grabbed by Kevin Silva. But after that match against FC Tucson for Toronto, it will be 5 straight home games, including another match with forward Madison on the 31st of July. And they'll host Tormenta FC on the 12th. That should be a very exciting matchup just a few weeks' time. Hundahl now. Petrasso, who gets it wide. Here's Faria. One-on-one with Christian Diaz. Now a cross, deflected out for a corner kick. Madison's done a good job of blocking and deflecting a lot of crosses tonight from Toronto FC2. As you can kind of hear the wind picking up. It's Faria and Petrasso standing over this. It will be Faria, the outswinger. He's tipped up and grabbed by Silvestre. Silvestre will slow things down. Here's Connor Tobin. Josiel Nunez. Adolfo Ovalle takes down J.C. Banks. The whistle blows again. He was displeased with that call. I've seen that a few times tonight. Here's Connor Tobin now. Seems like Nunez picking the ball up a little bit deeper than he was early on. It's now wide for Carter Manley. Deflected out for a corner. And Madison trying to take advantage of these opportunities in the final third. Josiel Nunez over to take, and it will be an outswinger. Nunez into the middle, looking for the bigger bodies of Connor Tobin and Wyatt Omsberg, and it's cleared away for the moment. And we will get another sub, and it will be Danny Tenorio to come on. Paolo Jr. will make way.
Substitution for forward Madison FC in the 75th minute.
Danny Tenorio coming off a goal in the team's last match, a friendly against Minnesota United on Tuesday in Madison. And we'll see what he can do for forward Madison. Hasn't gotten too much time in a USL League One match so far this season, but 15 minutes left as he tries to get back to full fitness coming off an injury to start the season. This is a very good chance for him to impress and really make a statement for forward Madison if he can aid in getting them a goal back. Daryl Shore has called Tenorio just another attacking player with wide options. And Daryl Shore, you can see him talking to the fourth official about these offside calls. He is not too pleased about what is going on in the offside category. There's been a few coaches around the league that are just as confused by it as well. Long ball played for Hundal. It's won back by Banks, who's dropped a little bit deeper. Now with Tenorio on the field, and here is Tenorio. It's taken away by Ramos Mingo. Danny Tenorio gets taken down, grabbing that left leg. And she has the yellow card in her hand. And it looks like Franco Ramos Mingo will be the second player in the book this afternoon. Christian Diaz, the other, will take another look. Just kind of swiping at that left ankle was Ramos Mingo. Ramos Mingo's been in the book a few times this year. In his TFC2 debut against Orlando City B, picked up a red card, missed the FC Tucson match earlier on. Here's Josiel Nunez standing over. Into the box. Carter Manley charging forward, takes a deflection and out for a corner. Who will take this now for forward Madison? J.C. Banks is over there. Seen a few different players take set pieces for Forward Madison today. This time it's J.C. Banks. It's headed on. It looked like it took a little bit of inflection after it went off the head of Wyatt Omsberg. As Kevin Silva will try to play out quickly. Looking for Matthew Serbel. Looking to get by Don Smart, unable to do so. Connor Tobin comes away with it. It's been a lot of one-way traffic for Forward Madison, but not a whole lot of quality chances so far. It's played over the top for Don Smart. He's in behind, looking for Tenorio. Another great save. Kevin Silva, his third tremendous save of the game, and he keeps the score at 1-0. Tariq Mohammed, now it's Sean Hundal, trying to put Madison away, as Toyama will not let that happen. But Kevin Silva on the other end has made at least 3 tremendous saves so far today. And it goes back to what Daryl Shore has been saying. They've had plenty of chances, just not able to put them away. You thought maybe that would go away after last week's 4-goal performance. It comes up again today. Carter Manley now. Here's Eric Leonard. Back for Wyatt Omsberg. 11 minutes left. Can Madison find something? Josiel Nunez now. Gets it wide for Carter Manley. And it's cleared away. Matthew Serbel now. Gets by Leonard. Some room to run now for Serbel. He gets tripped up from behind. And no call. Referee looked like thought he won the ball on that occasion. Manley plays it wide for Don Smart. Smart trying to get it over Silva. Tenorio, all he has to do is head it in, and we are level. Danny Tenorio has leveled the match in the 81st. The super sub, his first USL League One goal, and it is a big one here in Toronto. The man from Esmeraldas, Ecuador, is on the score sheet for the first time in USL League One play. It started from Manley up to Smart. Silva could not quite get 2 hands on it, and we are level at 1 late in this match. What a moment for Danny Tenorio. His first on the season. And you'd never forget your first, especially when it comes at such a big moment. And I'm sure the flock back in Madison at the Avenue Club are loving that late in this match. So now all to play for. 3 points up for grabs. Otherwise, both these sides will head out of here with just a single point. Played over the top, looking for Jiro Bariga Toyama. Toyama gets taken down, no call. And it will go to Madison. J.C. Banks, quick to take, finds Toyama. Novaye, plenty of room in the middle. Gets it wide for Tariq Mohammed, weaving through players before Tobin clears it back downfield, and Mohammed picks up a yellow card. An unfortunate yellow there for Tariq Mohammed. So now he is in the book, the substitute.
Yellow card issued in the 83rd minute to TFC2's number 57, Tariq Mohammed.
Looked like he took a bit of a heavy touch and went into Connor Tobin. pretty recklessly. We'll take another look at it.
Tell Tariq to play left back. Bring Jesus next to you, Adolfo.
That's a tough yellow if you ask me. It's played wide again, and the flag goes up. Fans follow Toronto FC2 and the rest of USL League One all season long on ESPN Plus, home to the USL, MLS, UFC, the US Open Cup, and more. Join the over 2 million sports fans who have already discovered ESPN Plus and watch League One live every week. Sign up today at espnplus.com. And that is teamwork at its finest, folks. Patrick Bunk Anderson tying the shoelace of his goalkeeper, Kevin Silva. You just love to see it. So another offside call on forward Madison. And a header, and it will go back to Madison for a throw-in. Who's up? Who's down? Where does your club sit? Find out every Monday in the official USL League One Power Rankings only on USLLeague1.com. Madison, a big jump in the power rankings following 2 wins. They can somehow find something here, and a giveaway at the back. Hundal now taken away. Here's Matthew Serbel trying to find the winner. Silvestre, a great save, and it's out for a corner. He had a very similar save that won Save of the Week last week, and once again, saving forward Madison at the back.
No, he said he wanted to, and then he changed his mind. 98, you can come up here, 98. You can come up here.
And will be Faria to take this corner kick. For that, we'll get a stoppage. Carly Shaw McLaren needs to break something up right near the goal line. Ovalle just trying to hold his ground in there inside the 6. It's played in, just over the head of Bunk Anderson. Tenorio comes away with it. A good pass finds J.C. Banks. Able to ease the pressure. Maybe spring Don Smart free. Will be a throw-in upcoming for forward Madison. And it will be the 3rd and final sub for Toronto FC2. Jaquil Marshall-Ruddy, an academy product. And he is making his USL League One pro debut here today as Jordan Faria makes way. So 2 subs for forward Madison. All 3 have now been used for Toronto FC2. Marshall-Ruddy listed on the roster as a forward, so trying to spark something in the attack is Michael Rabaska. And here we are in the dying embers of this. In the last 15 minutes, we talked about it earlier, how good they are scoring late goals, but maybe it's Madison's turn to do so. Danny Tenorio already has 1 today. Tenorio couldn't get that great of a shot off, and Silva comes to take it away. He had a lot of open room here on this near side, but he was always trying to get it back to his strong right foot. Here's Marshall-Ruddy. Played forward for Sean Hundal. Going at it with Connor Tobin, and Tobin, good veteran play, just knocks that out over the end line. Live to see another day. A corner upcoming.
Here's your clock.
Here is Luca Petrasso to take it. An in-swinger. Towards the back post, over everybody. Nunez gets a foot to it, but he wins Toronto FC2 another corner. And it looks like 1 final sub coming for Madison. It will be Sean Russell. a defender.
Substitution for forward Madison FC.
And it will be Josiel Nunez coming off, so maybe Daryl Shore is trying to hold what they have here. Josiel Nunez coming off, Sean Russell coming on. Nunez will take his time. And it will be Sean Russell to come on, the big center back. And the fourth official getting in the ear of Sean Russell, telling him to wait just a moment, and now he can enter. An in-swinger towards the front post. Toronto keeps possession. A minute plus stoppage time remaining. Into the box, Silvestre is there to take it. So forward Madison now with 4 players who have played center back this season. Eric Leonard, Sean Russell, Connor Tobin, Wyatt Omsberg, all on the field. And maybe just try to pack it in. Russell's also spent some time as a fullback, so he does have that versatility. We're hearing a potential 3 minutes of stoppage time. We'll know for sure in a moment. Diaz has to be careful already of picking up a yellow card today. So as things stand right now, it'd be Toronto alone in 4th place with 19 points. Madison moving up just a little bit at 15 points. But still some stoppage time to figure things out. Serbal has it taken away by Leonard. Leonard getting it wide for Tenorio, and there it is officially, a minimum of 3 minutes of stoppage time here at the end. Now, is there something in these final 3 minutes for either of these sides? Toronto loves scoring the late goal. They scored one just before halftime. They've scored them late before. Trying to find Marshall Ruddy, and it looked like it went past the end line. And it will be a goal kick coming for forward Madison. So up next for Madison next Saturday, a trip to South Georgia Tormenta, their first trip to South Georgia, Statesboro. It's sent back downfield. 33% of the goals for Toronto FC2 have come in the last 15 minutes. It's played ahead for Danny Tenorio. A bit of a heavy touch, and he loses possession. Still trying to kind of find his bearings on the pitch. It's wide. Here's Tariq Mohammed now. Plenty of white jerseys behind the ball now. Sean Russell clears it away. A throw in now for Toronto. There's Michael Rabaska trying to coach his team to get one final goal here in the last minute. I have at least one more minute. We're through 2 of the minimum of 3. It's played wide. Marshall Ruddy. Is it taken away? Pops up in the air. Marshall Ruddy comes away with it again. Campbell. A good touch by Serbal. Serbal all the way towards the end line. And it looks like it'll be a goal kick. About 30 seconds left until the points will be split. And Silvestre will put this back in play. And this could be the final kick of the match. Puts his foot through it. It's back in the air, and there is the final whistle as the points are shared today in Toronto. Jordan Peruzza gets the first goal for Toronto. It's canceled out by Danny Tenorio's equalizer in the 81st minute. And both teams head out of this one with a point, and there it is, 3 straight games with a point for forward Madison. Toronto follows up a loss at Lansing last week with just a point here today. There's the goal scorer for Madison, Danny Tenorio, his first league goal. And that does it here from Toronto. His teams will shake hands, and Toronto will get ready for their trip to Tucson. So this was the first goal for Toronto FC 2, and it ends Forward Madison 1, Toronto FC 1. We'll wrap it up with highlights and stats right after this here on ESPN+. Back in Toronto to wrap things up, a 1-1 draw between Toronto FC 2 and Forward Madison FC. Peruzza and Tenorio, the goal scorers for either side. And let's show you how it all happened. Some highlights from this one. It was an exciting match. It went back and forth. Both teams had chances. It was a bit of a slow start. Here was, though, the first really good opportunity. A great save by Kevin Silva, and another great save right off the face by Kevin Silva. Once again, he was big in goal today, making numerous big saves to keep his team in the match. But here was the moment that got Toronto FC 2 on the board just before halftime. It was Jordan Peruzza, his 5th goal on the season. That got Toronto FC going and opened the scoring at BMO Training Ground. And that was a very big moment in this match to really open things up, and that's when Madison had some opportunities in the second half. And there's Kevin Silva again. Carter Manley was up and down that right flank all day long, crossing the ball in and creating opportunities for Forward Madison. But here was the real opportunity. Another, though, great save by Kevin Silva. It was Don Smart crossing it in. I don't think Tenorio really got a full touch on that. But here was the moment that got Madison back level. A nice ball over the top by Don Smart. Silva couldn't do anything but really just get a hand on it. And Tenorio was able to check his run. And all he had to do was head it straight on in. That was the equalizer, his first USL League One goal. So here are the stats. The most glaring one, as we've seen in these TFC2 home games, offside. 11 offside calls for Forward Madison, none for Toronto. But it was Forward Madison that took the possession to Toronto FC2. They had more shots on target, more possession, but unable to come away with the win. They settle for a draw. And here are the standings, just 1 point For Toronto FC2, they stay in 4th. Forward Madison, they stay in 7th place, but now level on points with FC Tucson at 15, and they are completely even. So that'll be interesting to watch here as we come down the stretch of the season. We're nearing the midway point of this USL League One season in the inaugural USL League One season, but a few more games coming up tonight and this weekend here in Week 14 in USL League One. So north of the border, it finishes Forward Madison 1, Toronto FC 1. They share the points. It was an exciting back and forth match, but that is going to do it. Thank you for spending part of your day here on ESPN Plus. I'm Josh Eastern for our entire crew saying so long and good night.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League League One cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League League One.